If you love comedy, you'll love The Random Bush.
Porn star fun facts.
The 18th president, Ulysses S. Grant, was a never nude. Grant prided himself on nobody ever having seen him naked since he was little. A biographer of Grant's once said that he had a girl's primness of manner and modesty of conduct. Oh, burn.
Our 36th president, Lyndon B. Johnson, was always jealous of the attention that his predecessor, Kennedy, got for his sexual escapades. Lyndon took great pride in his penis, naming it Jumbo. Johnson was never shy about waving his junk around and telling anyone who would listen that he had more women by accident than Kennedy had on purpose. Wish I met Lyndon in my lifetime.
Former President Calvin Coolidge, the 30th president, is a namesake for the sexologist term the Coolidge effect. What is the Coolidge effect? The sensation of men becoming aroused by the idea of a presence of a new female, i.e. the Coolidges would have to have a strange girl in the room not participating just for a good old Calvin to get the engine running. Also, it is well known that he loved having Vaseline rubbed on his head during breakfast, yet no one knows why.
Our 35th president, John F. Kennedy's sexual exploits are well known within American political mythology. What is not often focused on is that he wasn't as much of an amorous scamp as is made out to be. Moreover, he had a very serious physical addiction to sex. He once told British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan that if he went too long without sex, he'd get severe headaches. And I claim severe headaches to get out of sex.
The 29th president, Warren G. Harding, reveals that he named his penis Jerry. In a letter to his mistress, he stated, "Do you recall, Jerry? He told me to say that you are the best and darlingest in the world, and if he could have but one wish, it would be to be held in your darling embrace and be thrilled by your pink lips that convey the surpassing rapture of human touch and the unspeakable joy of love's surpassing embrace. I wouldn't mind a little Jerry."
Our 6th president, John Quincy Adams, had a habit of taking female reporters skinny dipping in the Potomac, at least until one used the event as blackmail over him. You go, girl.
Former President Grover Cleveland was the 22nd and 24th president. Married Frances Folsom, his former law partner's 21-year-old daughter. The thing is, he was also her ward since she was 11 after her parents died. He paid for her schooling, doted on her, and bought her everything she needed. Throughout her life, Cleveland would send her flowers and say, in his own words, "I'm waiting for my bride to grow up."
Our 41st president, George H.W. Bush, prior to being president, was Ronald Reagan's vice president and the head of the CIA. Between 1988 and 1991, it is well documented that there were male and female prostitutes being snuck in and out of the White House under his watch. It is naive to think he wouldn't be aware of something of that magnitude.
According to Robert Gene Baker, a lifelong White House staffer, both President Ford and JFK were seduced by suspected spy Ellen Rotmesh, the wife of a West German army officer. J. Edgar Hoover, head of the CIA at the time, recorded her hookups with Ford while he was on the Warren Commission for use in a later blackmailing scandal.
Our 32nd president, Franklin D. Roosevelt's mother, clothed him in dresses until he was 5 years old. Though later in life, he was once spotted wearing a skirt and a hat trimmed with a marabou feather and wearing a wig of shoulder-length hair. And he was fabulous.
Warren G. Harding supposedly made love to a young girl, Nan Britton, on a regular basis in a White House closet. Secret Service agents reportedly had to stop his wife from beating down the closet doors on several occasions.
Our 20th president, James A. Garfield, According to his biography, he hated his sexual urges. Garfield was consumed by lust and sexual temptation. He agonized over his thoughts and punished himself emotionally each time he indulged in his sexual needs. Just imagine what he would have done to himself if he had access to the internet. I like fun facts.
Me too, presidents are fun.
Facts!
That sketch you just heard is part of The Random Bush Show. To hear more great comedy content, search The Random Bush Show, a stand-up sketch conversation comedy podcast on Podbean.